Welcome back to Forza Motorsport. Today, we're continuing our early access look at Forza Motorsport gameplay. The other day, we officially started our Forza Motorsport Let's Play. We jumped into the Builders Cup, tried out some cars, briefly checked out customization, but in that video, I asked you guys for things that you want to see me do in the new Forza Motorsport game, and I got inundated with questions about racing wheels. So let's just jump into it. In today's video, we're gonna do two different races. We're gonna start here out of Mugello with the Ford Mustang, jump into practice, drive the car around, give some early impressions on the wheel. After the race though, we're gonna then head back and do some customization to the Ford Mustang and make it a little sketchy to drive and see what that is like with a racing wheel as well. Before we get into that though, we do need to thank Thrustmaster for sponsoring this video. This is their brand new Thrustmaster T248 racing wheel for the Xbox and the PC. It's one of Thrustmaster's budget-friendly wheels, and it's got a whole bunch of cool features like this little LCD display at the top here. It can show things like your gear, what speed you're doing, your RPM, and things like that. There's a whole bunch of different drive modes built into the wheel. You can mess around with exactly how it feels. But for today's video, I've got it on all of the bone stock settings. I basically want to figure out what this game is going to feel like for the average player, so that's what I've done. As always, if you want to check out this wheel, there's a link down below. Also, we're going to be giving one of them away soon, so make sure you subscribe so you get notified of when we do that. No more waffling. Let's go for it in the Ford Mustang and send it. We've got a challenge to complete a lap in a 1:09 or faster, so we'll see if we're able to do that. And at the same time, give the racing wheel a test, and we can see how good Forza Motorsport feels with one. That was a little sketchy. I think I'm going to use interior view for the majority of today's video. Anytime I use a racing wheel, I just tend to use this sort of view. Let's put head down and let's get that lap time. So try to brake in a straight line. We're going to do all the things we're supposed to. Trail brake into the corner. Okay, the Mustang is a little heavy in here. I can immediately tell you, Forza Motorsport is not a simulator. If it was and I was driving like this, I would have ended up in a wall or a satin trap, or probably on that hill if I'm on it. There are definitely some subtle assists going on in the background where if you were to compare this game to like an Assetto Corsa or an iRacing or anything like that, you would definitely notice a big difference. But I don't really think that's what this game is trying to be. I think it's trying to be an accessible simulator. Sorta, kinda. So I think we have to judge it differently to those sorts of things. It's a little bit messy and a little bit sideways. Jeez, Mustang. I don't know what tires this thing has on it, but they are not the grippiest thing. I'm just saying, this was supposed to be the race where I drove around in like a normal Mustang. This one is trying to murder. Okay, it did something weird there. I was braking and I was trying to lift off the brake to turn into the corner, but the car wouldn't turn. Already done our lap time challenge on our first proper push lap. Very nice. We've got a little bit time left in practice. I'm gonna put some more laps in and get some more thoughts about the wheel. Okay, I've been doing a couple of laps. We've got my best lap time down to a 1:08.299. Now I'm wondering, it's always been a thing in Forza Motorsport where controller has just been faster than using a racing wheel. If you ever actually look at like Forza esports competitions, all of the drivers pretty much are driving on a controller because it's just the fastest way to drive. But is it still the fastest way to drive in Forza Motorsport? Why don't we try to figure that out? When I come around here, I'm going to disconnect the wheel and I'm going to switch over to a controller and we're going to find out. I think this is going to be the fastest lap I've done so far, a 1:07.7. Okay, let's swap to a controller. I've swapped over to the Thrustmaster eSwap controller. This is the controller that I use every single day. So let's see if I can go faster with it. Let's go third person view because that's what I would play with a controller. And let's see if I can get a faster lap time. I am going to do my very best. I think I'm going to get 2, maybe 3 laps with the controller. Can I just say, this feels really weird to play with a controller but using sim racing gloves. This is very strange. All right, so I've got a little bit of traffic, but we'll try to get around that guy as quickly as possible. Of course, the Supra's trying to race me. Wait. Where is my car going? Why did you drive into the pit lane? Allow manual steering into pit. Yes, Spoon. It's a new game. I'm still learning how it all works and stuff. So we got a couple of laps. Let's see how we can do. That was a 1:09 or so. Oh, little sketchy there, buddy. And send it up the inside on the 370. I do apologize, sir. I have places to be. We're only gonna get one more lap in. No way. I just did an identical time on a controller. Literally not even 0.01 seconds off. That was identical. So now here's the thing. I'm sure there's gonna be other people who go into all of the nitty-gritty details and jump into all the science. It's very possible this game might work something like F1, for example, where they sometimes give boost to the controller, sometimes to make the cars a little bit easier to control. I don't actually know if that's the case, but I'm just gonna tell you straight up what it feels like to play. Come around the final corner, and I think we might actually be going slower. Let's see. And across the line, we went 0.03 seconds faster. I didn't think it would be that close, if I'm honest. That was pretty crazy. So now that we've done that and we've jumped back into the pit lane, what are my thoughts? Controller versus a wheel. I think although we got fairly similar results, achieving that lap time was easier to do on a controller versus doing it on a racing wheel. I have no idea what the game's doing behind the scenes in terms of like the science and all of that sort of stuff. Anyways, that's not the purpose of today's video. I want to tell you more about the racing wheel. We've got a 4-lap race ahead of us. Let's go and put some more laps in with the wheel. I don't know if I've actually mentioned this in any other videos before, but Forza Motorsport doesn't have like a realistic wheel rotation when you're driving in interior view. When you're driving on a circuit like this, it doesn't really matter because you're racing and you should never be really turning the wheel more than, I mean, that really, maybe sometimes a little more. But if you are a drifter and if I press the, what's the handbrake? Handbrake. You can see what happens with the steering wheel. It just kind of locks you out like that. And even though my wheel is pointing like that, the one in the game is still upside down. So here's what's actually fun about this car. If you're new to the channel, this is sort of kind of the car I have in real life. So in theory, I should be able to give an accurate idea of what the car is like to drive in real life and compare it to the actual game. And I've recently been doing a whole bunch of track driving in real life, so we can always, you know, implement some of those things as well. Based on early impressions, though, from driving with a wheel in this game, I can say it's actually really nice. The force feedback right out of the box feels really good. Everything feels accurate and pointy. You do actually need to use like real world things to get the cars driving into the corner. You can't just go into the corners and brake and turn and expect the car to do all of that. If I come into the corner, brake and turn, look at that understeer. You can actually hear the tires begging for forgiveness. They're just out of grip. The real world physics are actually there and they're doing stuff behind the scenes. But I think there are also some assists going on behind the scenes. I think that was a fairly good first impression of the wheel, if I'm honest. We finished in P3, not a bad result. Now, though, I think we should do some customization and make the car a little sketchy. So what's lucky is previously I've actually got into the game and I've leveled this Mustang all the way up to level 50. So I have every single upgrade unlocked for it. So if we want to swap a big old exhaust on it, we can do that. There is a ton of options available for this car. But what about good old-fashioned engine swap? What do we have for this Mustang? A 3.7 liter V6, 3.8 liter V6 twin turbo, an 8.4 liter V10 from a Dodge Viper, 6.5 liter V12, and a 5.9 liter V8 racing engine. The game's gonna yell at us if we toss that engine in because it makes our PI go way too high. But what if we toss that on and then we get some shocking tire compound? We've got street tires, sport tires, race tires, and drag. Oh, none of those actually help the PI the way I thought it would. Change of plans, we will not get that engine installed. That sounds like a bad idea. I could get a V6 if I do want to trigger every single person in my comment section. Cool. Now that we've done that, what are we actually gonna do to this? Maybe I will go for this engine because that brings us down to C-Class. Then get twin turbos because apparently there's some cool like blow-off valve noises in this game. We could get Forza Aero or remove the rear wing altogether. You know what? I'm actually gonna remove the rear wing. And then the front splitter is pretty much regular old Forza Aero. We can only get a little bit of weight reduction. Let's see if race suspension feels any better. Hey, and there is drift suspension in this game. game. That's actually the first time I've seen that. Very cool. I don't think I'm gonna go for any brakes because I want to make this thing intentionally a little bit sketchy. I think we've got roughly the same amount of horsepower, maybe a little bit more, but it should be way nicer as an actual race car. That engine actually doesn't sound bad. Let's go though, Mustang. Let's see what you've got and let's see what this wheel feels like some more. So in theory, we shouldn't be getting as much body roll, providing I'm not driving all the way over the top of the curb. I can immediately tell you though, with the little race front bumper and with that suspension upgrade and the weight reduction, this is so much nicer to drive, so much better. I think honestly, downgrading the car to actually get like that extra performance room for upgrades was totally worth it. Now that I've been driving for a little while though, I've experienced 2 cars back to back with different tunes and stuff like that. Even though it's early impressions, what are my thoughts on using a wheel in Forza Motorsport? Well, that really depends on who's asking. Because if you're one of those people out there from r/sim racing, hello, you're probably one of those people who plays exclusively like iRacing, Assetto Corsa, proper racing simulator. And if you're asking the question, then my response is, okay, it's not bad. There is some sort of assist that's holding the car back. I know 100% that if I was driving like this in iRacing, I would have crashed by now. And the fact that I haven't kind of tells you all you need to know. But if you're the person who's asking that question, who isn't from sim racing, and you're a fan of Forza Motorsport, you're a fan of Gran Turismo, or even a fan of F1, this feels pretty good. Really good. You can definitely go into the corner, rip the handbrake, chuck it through, do a nice slide, and feel like an action hero. It is accessible yet rewarding all at the same time, which I think is a very difficult line to walk, and I think Forza has done it very well since I think that's the market they're aiming for. Long story short, I think if you're looking for just something fun, rewarding, that you can kind of just turn your brain off and just drive, this works really well. But if you're looking for that next level in performance, something that's actually going to teach you how to drive a car, I don't think this is it. Why don't we skip out of the end of practice and jump over to the actual race and see what we can do there. We're gonna get some more thoughts and more opinion. Actually, you know what? Before I even do this race, I'm gonna make the difficulty even harder. I haven't done this before. Let's go. Fastest AI, 8 out of 8. How hard can it actually be? Let's find out. Good luck, Mustang. Good luck, me on the racing wheel. Away we go. We do have some upgrades, so we should be able to get off the line quite nicely. With the weight reduction, we're actually zooming. 8 out of 8 AI? Are you guys okay? That man's not even on the racing line. Come on though, Mustang. If I can actually get a first place against the AI on the hardest difficulty, that would be huge. Into the corner we go. We are really pushing this thing now, but that Cadillac is fast. The AI seems to struggle on like the first, I don't know, 25% of the opening lap. But as soon as they like settle into the race, they are just zooming. Oh, Cadillac kind of running deep. Interesting. Keep going, Mustang. Man is making his own racing line. We are properly zooming out here. Come on. Oh, cut the cord. It was a little close to the wall. Using all the circuit, be like. Yeah, I got a 10 on 10 for that. Very nice. There is one little detail that I notice so much when I'm driving an interior view like this. When you come into the corner, listen. You hear all of that little bit of squeaking going on? It's very subtle, but there's squeaking. See what I mean? The game does a fantastic job of giving you like an audio cue of when the car is understeering and sliding out from under you. That is a lovely little detail that I've only just noticed now. Very nice. Lovely stuff though, Mustang. There is the finish line, and across the line, P2. Now that I've completed 2 races using the racing wheel, what are my final thoughts? Is Forza Motorsport the most accurate racing sim out there? No. Is it a game that can teach you basic things about driving that you could take from the game and into the real world? Absolutely. But I think more importantly than any of those questions, you have to ask yourself one other. Is it fun? Yes, very.